We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY, New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
Welcome to a special episode of the 365 Driven podcast. We are broadcasting live here in Houston from 91.1 FM, The Boss. And I am sitting here with an incredible guest who's been an entrepreneur over 50 years, Frank Mulcahy of the Mulcahy and Associates of Sugar Land, Texas. Frank, we're going to have some good conversation about the gig economy and people out there building their future careers. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure and honor to be here, Tony. Been following your podcast for a long period of time, and it's exciting to be here and share this information.
So there's a lot of people out there stuck in the corporate world. Maybe they're feeling complacency. They're maybe feeling lack of challenge with the career that they've selected for their lives. How do they break out of that kind of stuff?
Well, it's certainly a mindset, and I've been blessed and honored over the last 50 plus years to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I went in the military and served my country as a military policeman, and I got out and I went to work for Travelers Insurance. And the first year I had the big red umbrella, Travelers Insurance, 125 High Street, Boston, mm-hmm. Massachusetts. And I worked hard. And so at the end of the first year, and this is hard for a lot of the folks today to understand, but my first year salary was $6,800 a year.
Wow.
And that was 1971. And at the end of the first year, folks, I went in and asked Jim Stevens and Tom Black. I'll never forget those two gentlemen. They set me free because I said, I need my annual raise. They said, we got you at $10,000. I said, wow, but I need $10,300. I'm getting married. I have a child. And he said, look, arbitration is for ball players. You're not a ball player. We're going to give you $10,000. That's what you get for the next 3 years. And I was staggered. Again, as a military veteran, and I served my country and, did what I had to do. And then all of a sudden they're telling me I can't negotiate $300 a year, $5 or $8 a week, yeah. Right? And so I quit, and I became an entrepreneur. And that very next year I made $23,000. And I had the mindset of an entrepreneur. But most people today, they don't have that mindset of an entrepreneur. They're functional people, Tony, and not key people of vitality. So I think to help you and the individuals is we have to change our mindset, folks, that we cannot be functional. Now, functional is a good thing. Yeah. You may be the best shop mechanic, you may be the best drill press operator, the best teacher, but unfortunately, with digitization, robotization, automation, artificial intelligence, we know that if they can cut cost of the functional person, they're going to cut cost.
I've been that cut cost many times in my career. Mm-hmm. Oil and gas here in Houston, we know that there's a lot of turmoil, these downturns about every 7-8 years. And in my 40s, about 3 years ago, I found myself on the end of that stick as well, and I decided to go full-time entrepreneurship after 20 years of owning side businesses. But there's a lot of people out there that want that side business, and maybe they just don't have the knowledge or experience to start that business. What would you suggest for them?
Well, I think there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, to be honest with you. I'm 68, and I had the opportunity to retire when I was 50. Mm-hmm. Lifelong goal. My wife and I were living in Sugar Land, Texas, and she said, I'd love to be back up with the grandkids. So we sold the company. It was 2001. Mm-hmm. And we went back to New Hampshire and bought a beautiful estate. And I got bored after 90 days being an entrepreneur all those years. And I started buying houses, and 57 houses later, the mill closed. Nobody was paying their rent. I opened my mortgage company to stop the bleeding because I was an entrepreneur. So, once you got the skill set,
we solve problems. We don't.
Once you get the mindset,
yeah.
You look for another problem to solve. Yeah. And an entrepreneur says, I'm not looking for problems to run away from. I'm looking for problems to solve. Mm-hmm. And one of my early mentors, Jim Rohn, I'm so blessed and honored to work with him for years. He said, if you know that you get paid to solve problems, I suggest you find big problems to solve, because the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. So we can write our own destiny. We can control our own destiny. If they know how to become what I feel, and I follow the practices of Mr. Whately, is David and Priestley, excuse me, is to become a key person of influence. This is what people have to do. They have to build their brand. They have to have something that they believe in, a niche that they love. And what I find when I talk to people, even if they're formally functional people, they have within them a story. They have a story. They have a skill set. They just never had the confidence to bring it out. So I try to work with people to help to bring that out.
So the key person of influence, that's a great topic, but I know that the foundation of everything that's successful is mindset, and you touched on that in the previous caption. Let's get into the mindset. I want to get your perspective of the entrepreneur versus employee mindset.
Well, the entrepreneur, it's a special skill set that you can feel proud of. It's a skill set that you control your destiny. It's a skill set that the community looks up to you. Your family looks up to you. You know, one day, one of my grandkids that hasn't even been born yet will probably walk down some hallway and see my picture at the end of the hallway, and their little friend's going to say, "Who's that?" "Well, that's Papa Bubba." "Well, what did he do?" "Well, I don't know. It was something to do with legal, and something to do with entrepreneurship, and something to do with employee benefits and civility training." But that's why we live in this beautiful home. You see, what I do today is for my future generation. What I do today as an entrepreneur, and I know so many tens of thousands of entrepreneurs around the world, we have a special inner peace, a sense that we can overcome it, right? Because we can. I mean, the old children's cartoon, The Little Train, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You know? I mean, I found that I've never not got something in my life unless I just quit.
Man, that's huge. I'll tell you a little bit of story of mine. I didn't grow up with any entrepreneurs in my family. There was nobody that's financially successful. I was the first one in my family to go to college. So I had to learn this on my own, but I grew up in a town that had some affluence around me. I was able to go ride my bicycle and see these different houses and ask a lot of questions. I was always curious, and I think curiosity is one of the main things for entrepreneurship, because a lot of people just think things are not possible for them. What would you say to someone that doesn't have that belief in themselves?
Well, they do have the belief in themselves. They just have to bring it out. And what I tell people today, my word, there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, and you have to become an entrepreneur. But you can become a key person and dominate your space. If you have a niche, and you're listening to me on this podcast today, if you have a niche, something you love to do, something that you're good at, something you're passionate about, but you're not monetizing it, we can work with you how to monetize it. That's not a problem. We can work with you with a blueprint. See, what most people are missing, Tony, is a blueprint. Yeah, I know I could probably do it, but I don't know how to connect the dots.
Yeah.
I don't know how to start that journey. I don't know. Well, what you do is you surround yourself, and you know, you've been dealing with entrepreneurs for years. Entrepreneurs, if somebody only asked, would be more than willing to give.
Man, they're the most growth-minded people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
We're always looking to help people up. But here's the thing, but if you're asking for advice, people that want to help you will only see that based on your actions. So if you're actually giving and investing in yourself and taking those actions and taking things seriously, you're going to get better advice than if you're just asking, like, how much money do you make?
Yeah. See, I love working with young entrepreneurs and people that have a thought and an idea. But I look, do they really believe in what they're doing, right? Because if they do, and I work with them and I help with them and I guide them, you know, through the masterminds or the workshops that we do and podcasts, we grow as well. See, because we get into a state of mind where we've accomplished this, we've accomplished that, but it's always great to see the young, fresh blood, the vibrant, the energy, and say, wow, I can do that too. You know, I was with a group of people, I'm 68, right? And I'm with all millennials. And they'll say, well, you don't think like everybody else your age. Well, there's no requirement that I have to.
I'm still a kid inside.
Right. Well, because, I remember when, before I was military police, I was in fire direction and support in the Army. And you'd call in the coordinates, and I would have to take a slide ruler and set the cannon so it didn't drop on friendly fire.
Yeah.
Now, today, we have guided laser missiles and paint the target 65 miles offshore, and it's within 9 feet of the target. So I look at this technology, I look at this information. I was talking to one of my students in India the other day, and he was telling me about this young girl. She's 14. She's got an iPhone. She's setting up a social media account. What does it cost her to reach her new message for her new business on social media?
Just a phone bill.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And she can set up an e-commerce account. And she doesn't have to open up a factory like they used to do in the past. She could advertise on social media for free. She can blog for free. She can text message for free. She can send emails for free. She can have Amazon or Spotify drop ship the products for free, and she doesn't have to have the factory costs. She doesn't have to have a business proposal and attorneys and accountants and overhead. I mean, yet there's people here in Houston, Texas right now meeting with a consultant, drawing up a business plan, looking for investors, and they don't even know if the product's going to work.
No, they're not pre-validating that idea. There's so many people that are investing time. I could say, don't invest time or a dime on something that hasn't been validated or pre-validated with that idea, man. There's so many people wasting time.
So there's actually 5 steps, Tony, to become a key person of influence.
Let's share those.
So the 5 steps, the short version of it is, number 1, to become a key person of influence, you have to have a pitch. So many times we talk to somebody about what they do and who they talk to and what they say, and we say, oh, that's nice. Well, how'd you get into that? And that's just pleasantry. And pleasantries, they can go on for years and never get any results. So I try to teach students that if you're going to have a pitch, be passionate. Be to the point where you want the person to raise their hand and say, come tell me more. So, for instance, my pitch, if somebody asks me, well, what do you do, Frank? I said, well, thank you for asking. I have a unique suite of services that are designed to reduce your risk, reduce your operating cost, increase your proficiency, increase your profitability, and I can do this for your corporation at no capital expenditure.
Yeah, any business owner hears that, they're going to be like, what? You're going to make all these things happen and not cost me anything?
How do you do that? What is it? Tell me more. You see, but it's how you craft your pitch.
Yeah.
And then they say, yeah, come tell me more. Yeah. Well, the next thing you do is you're going from a pitch, you got to have that crafted. And we can help anybody. If you have the idea, you have the concept, you have the inner working, we can help you get there. But the next thing we try to tell people is publish. Now, there's many, many ways. You're an expert at this subject on publishing. You can do podcasts, you can do blogs, you can write articles, you could publish an ebook for no money. I mean, literally.
It's time.
And where can you distribute it?
Everywhere.
You could distribute it worldwide.
Yeah, there's no control of distribution anymore.
Right. Then I tell people, find a product. Find a product and be able to productize that product. Have a product ecosystem. You see, in today's digital age, what does it cost to use Google? It's
Nothing.
free.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, it's free. You see, the things we would have paid thousands for a few years ago are free today. Our best concepts and techniques from 5 years ago are our excess baggage today.
Yeah.
So we have to take advantage of all this stuff to productize. So, I have products that I give away for free. My complimentary training that I do for corporations, individuals, organizations, associations. Then if they want to go to another level, I have a product that they can offer to their employees at no cost to the corporation and reduce their operating costs by 6 to 8%. It's a huge return for the corporation.
Yeah.
And it encourages safety. The third thing that they need to do is they need to be able to publish. And they need to be able to build their profile. You see, it's often said, you are who Google says you are.
That's true.
If somebody wants to do business with us, they're going to look at us on social media. They're going to look at us on Google. And if you're not found, you're not the person.
Yeah, when you control what the world sees about you, you also get to control what they think about you.
Yeah, here's the magic. Here's the 5th ingredient. The 5th ingredient is partnerships. So you got to pitch, right? And then you got to go out there and publish, and you got to go out there and set up your profile, but you got to have your product. But when you're a key person of influence, when you're the one that dominates your space, and this can happen in 12 months, and I'll give you an example of a key person of influence and where it worked. Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
You see, the founder of Facebook. He originally just wanted to chronicle the drunken follies of Harvard students. And then it went from Harvard to Yale, and now all of a sudden it's the biggest thing in the world. Yeah. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, just wanted to sell books better than Borders and Walden's. Now, literally,
I sell what I want.
Yeah, I mean, now he's like the richest man in the world. But what a lot of the entrepreneurs, inspiring entrepreneurs, don't realize, there's over 1 million people, small entrepreneurs, that sell on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely the Amazon FBA program.
Right. So here's the fifth ingredient. Here's where the magic happens, is partnerships. When you're a key person of influence, and you could have a small niche, and you could have a micro niche, and we do workshops and podcasts and webinars on this, so they can certainly contact you or myself. But when you can go out there and get the partnerships. For instance, next Monday, I have a filming crew coming in from Los Angeles for a corporation in New York City coming to me in Houston, Texas, to do a series of cybersecurity trainings that they want to put on their website. And in turn, they're exposing me to 500,000 customers over the next year.
That's a crazy amount, by the way.
But these are the partnerships. And folks, they're only going to come if you're a key person of influence. So, as we get towards the end of this session, I encourage people that want to become the entrepreneur, people that want, like your book. I mean, an incredible book. You don't promote it enough, but Side Hustle Millionaire. I mean, I got it. I wanted it immediately, so I got it on Audible, right? And it's just amazing, the hints and the helpful things you put in there. But the important thing is that they realize they can do it. And if they have a niche, if they have something they like, I can take the story within you and bring it forward, and we can start to get a product. We can start to publish. We can start to build the profile. And then 12 months from now, you could have the partnerships. There's people out there with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in their database that want your value to add to their value. So instead of sharing the pie, you could have two people open a bakery and sell the products of the bakery.
Man, that's an incredible way to think about this closing. But it's been a great episode on entrepreneurship. Frank, thank you for sharing the insight that you've gained, the wisdom you've had over the years of entrepreneurship. This is Tony Whatley signing out, 365 Driven Podcast. Frank, if they want to find you, what's the best way for them to find you?
They can simply go on LinkedIn, Frank Mulcahy, Sugar Land, Texas, Frank Mulcahy, Mulcahy and Associates, or, and I easily found on the internet. And I'm in Sugar Land, Texas.
There you go. He's dominating Google on his first page, so you go find him. Thank you for being on the show.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your fusion radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY, New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.